What's up, guys? This is the first episode of our new web series for the Butterfly.
So how do you find about GaryVee?
How I found GaryVee. I remember when I was in college, I wanted to start following things on Instagram and use them as a tool rather than just following people I knew.
Yeah.
And so I typed in the hashtag like motivational mindset, and I started following some motivational accounts to use them as a resource.
Yeah.
And came across Gary's content, and to be honest, I thought he was too much. I thought he was very aggressive.
Yeah.
And he was kind of just that guy that was yelling at you, work hard and that's how you get it, which is true. But when I didn't have like a business or anything to start with, it was too much at first. And then how I ended up working with him was directly through Twitter. He came to Minnesota for Super Bowl weekend and started working with some of his agents, and ended up meeting him and working with him on 3 different occasions.
That's amazing. How long ago was it when you found him?
When I found him, that was freshman year of college, so 5 years ago.
And what was your experience like working with him?
Surreal. It was one of the first people that I really look up to, and working with him, you see all these people and you think that they're an untouchable Hollywood movie star.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say Gary is very authentic, and it's very, very true. When I first met him, he puts his phone down and he's just like, hey, I'm Gary. And I'm like, I know. But it was very one-on-one, and he kind of makes everyone feel like you are just as close as anyone else. But it was very intense at the same time. There's a lot of moving parts, and he moves quick. And so working with him the first time was really a good experience. And then working with him the second and third time, he kind of recognized me, and so it was a little bit less intense, but just as impactful.
How cool. So what were you working as? What was your major stream of work for him?
Okay, so I run a creative agency, and so we do a lot of photo and video content. And so when I first met him over Super Bowl weekend, what happened is they came here from Minnesota for Super Bowl, and his sports agent tweeted out, where are my Minneapolis photographers and videographers at? And what had happened was I didn't even see the tweet. One of my buddies said, hey, I'm working with this guy. Send me your portfolio link. I'm going to have him take a look at your work. And I had done a lot of more corporate videos, and so I was like, I'll send you the link, but there's no chance they're going to pick us. There's so many more talented people out in Minnesota. And so about 2 hours later, I got a call back, and like, yeah, we want to work with you. And so I was doing a lot of photo and video for actually all 3 times that I worked with them. So when they came in for Super Bowl weekend, we did a lot of work with their athletes for Vayner Sports.
Yeah.
And then when we went to, we brought them to Rochester for a keynote speaking, I did all the video and photo coverage for that.
That's so cool. Looking up to someone and then end up working for them. That's amazing. And that all happened through Twitter, and you having, you were already running your business, the creative thing?
Yes. Yep. So we were running it for 2 years, working with universities, smaller to mid-sized businesses, and really just getting our feet wet so we could learn. Mm-hmm. And then that opportunity happened. And then we took our portfolio and all the content that we worked with Gary, and we packaged that, and I started reaching out to other people who I looked up to and was inspired by, saying, hey, here's what I can provide. I can do photo and video. I've already done it with GaryVee. And that validates it a lot more than just a random DM. So we've actually used that to leverage a couple other relationships in the same circle, and it's been insane.
That's amazing. So what is your main job? Are you just running the business, or are you also part of doing the video and the photos?
I'm more into it than I should be. It's weird because a lot of people are either more creative or they're more analytical in business, and I'm split down the middle. And so we're going to turn 4 years old as an agency in August. And so that's kind of my goal is in August to be completely out of the video and photo and doing more of the creative direction around everything. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm doing a lot of the bigger production projects, and then some of the mid to smaller production projects I'm having my team and we're building it. So we've actually doubled in size in the last 6 months in terms of employees, because I can't be doing it all myself.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, so you were telling me when you kind of moved out of college, you were thinking what you wanted to do and stuff. So how did you navigate your way through that to like where you are today? Kind of like what
I
is
would
it that you
say,
enjoy the most?
yep. So I only graduated 2 years ago. And I had started my business my second year into college. And so I kind of already had a path that I wanted to go down. But I go and I speak to a lot of classes and I talk to a lot of people who ask these same questions. And my biggest advice is, if you don't have something that is you're extremely passionate about, you need to keep tasting. And so there's a big dilemma. Is college worth it? Is it not worth it? I think if you don't know what you want to do, you should go there and you should meet as many people and try as many new things as humanly possible. And if you find something that just gives you goosebumps or makes you, have a light of fire in your heart, you should chase that relentlessly, because and as Gary talks, the internet just opened up where you can do whatever you want as long as you're happy, and people are accepting that. Even look at you, like doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Most people would love to start a podcast, but they don't just go and do it. And you randomly messaged me on Instagram, and now we're sitting here having a conversation.
Yeah.
We can build a relationship together.
Yeah.
And I don't even where are you from?
I'm from India.
India? Is that where this podcast is at?
Yeah, so like I'm just like kind of doing it online, and it's not ever in person, it's all online, because I always struggled with, I wanted to do a podcast, but I was like, I have no one, like I have no friends, no people around. And then because I consume Gary so much, I feel like it really opened my mind to like the possibilities. So I started DMing people who were like-minded people and finding them from Gary's comment section, and like just like having a conversation and building relationships.
So I love that. How long have you been doing the podcast?
I started in February. I am a heavy consumer of Gary and very passionate about what he does. And
How did you find Gary? I'm going to interview you a little bit.
No, of course. He actually took a meeting with Jake Paul, and he's someone I really look up to as a business person. And that's how I knew of him because I saw his content here and there, but I thought he was like just a motivational speaker. I wasn't aware of him as a business person. So until I discovered that, I was very fascinated by that, and I really studied into it, that he's not like just a talker. He's already built a business that's worth 200 million, and his intentions just to help people, and how historically correct he's been with his investments, and he's already built his dad's business, and just so much shit. And then he really like connects with you as a person. So I really, and because I just got done from my high school, I did not go to college, so I really wanted to educate myself as much as I can. So I felt like business books, Gary, and Jake were like three things that I really consumed a lot.
Right. No, I agree with that 100%. And I think, why a lot of people are starting to resonate with Gary is because a lot of people are being exposed on Instagram, where they're trying to be like the perfect person, and then they have that one interview that gets trailed on the internet, and they're not who they say they are. With what Gary does and how much he's posting, it's who he is as a person, which is really cool. And that's what's winning right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we do a lot of work with video, obviously, and we're working with large organizations, and they want to have everything so scripted. And I said, no, document versus creating. It's something Gary talks about all the time. But there's a reason why reality TV won 10 years ago, is because people were sick of the scripted stuff. They wanted to see what was going on behind the scenes. So,
that's so cool.
And running an agency, truthfully, I consume a lot of Gary's content, and I consume a lot of like 3 other people's content, and I just regurgitate it back to these businesses because they're not following Gary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's just providing a ton of value.
So much. Even for like people who are just starting out, to people who like just dealing with stuff before they want to start, and people who like running successful business, he's literally touching every single person, and for free, Something like his the meeting that he takes up, which is called 4Ds. It's like the daily digital deep dive, right?
Daily digital deep dive.
Right.
Yeah.
So clients are paying like $20K just to sit in the meeting, and we get to experience so much of it, like just watching that shit for free.
Right.
That really blows my mind.
And he's charging $20K
for like one single client, and then there's so many people sitting right there. And I really like try to capitalize on all the information like I'm getting from him and try to apply it in my life. So that's cool. So
what's your goal with the podcast?
I don't know. Like, something I was struggling with is I couldn't find what is it that I'm good at, like what is it that I bring to the table. And I wanted to like work for free for people I admire. But then I was like, I don't know what is it that I have to bring to the table. And because I was consuming Gary so much, he's like, irrespective, just start creating content and document. And I started documenting. I would like make these logs, like just sitting down to the camera and speaking how my day is going, if I'm studying something, what am I learning, or like failures I'm experiencing or whatever. And I'm like, I'm such a people's person. I really connect with people and I enjoy that the most. And therefore I decided just to connect with people instead of like cold emailing people. I can invite them on my podcast and kind of build a relationship with them, you know?
So smart. So
So
smart.
I feel like I'm
So
just
how
kind
old
of
are you? How old are you?
20.
Okay, so you just graduated high school.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like it's
and
been a
you're
year.
in India.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what what's the podcast space like over there? Is it poppin'?
Yeah, I'm not sure so much. Like I live so much online, and India, I'm
Okay.
not, like it's just like I see people, so I consume very
Yeah.
specific people I really look up to. Not so much of like a consuming on an entertaining basis. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, people are doing it here and there, but I'm not sure if someone's doing this. And I thought it would be interesting,
That's good. That's
right?
good.
So even like
Yeah.
me speaking with people, like documenting the thing, it's like a video thing, right? That's why it's on Skype. So if I succeed, if they see me kind of building relationships, they can see and go back on how do you like network in real life. Even though I'm back here in India, I'm connecting with people who are like across the world. And I thought it would just be super interesting, and it's really fun for me, like just talking with new people and learning over and over again.
Right. No, that's so smart. And so you've been doing it since February. How often are you doing interviews?
So it's so difficult because the other person has to say yes. I go to like 20 no's, and then that's when one person says yes. So I'm down to do it like every day, but then it really depends on the frequency of people saying yes. And so many times like they say yes, but then no one shows up. So it's just kind of funny like that. But it's sometimes it's like 4 times a week, sometimes it's like just twice a week. But
Okay.
yeah.
And where are you putting this content? So are you recording this Skype session right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And where are you putting this content?
On YouTube, and then snippets of it on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And like just the highlight parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like just kind of learning how to distribute. And
So do you have 2 podcasts then?
no.
Or what was the 1-minute podcast that I was looking at?
So that was something where when I was like, so everyone I was kind of getting in touch with also was kind of a content creator, and we decided, because Gary spoke, I mean I just keep quoting him, but then he spoke a lot about investing 80% of your time on Instagram, and I saw how easy it is to like kind of reach new people on Instagram, because by YouTube I really had to hustle every single view that I was getting. So we decided, like, if I was connecting with, like, if I have 1,000 followers and if the other person has 1,000 followers, we do a collaboration on Instagram to flip each other's audience. So that's like, instead of me growing from 1,000 to 1,100, I potentially grow from 1,000 to 2, and I do the same for the other person.
I love it. Let's do that. I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna post it on my feed.
That is so cool.
Send me the recording, and then I'll chop some stuff up and make some graphics and stuff too.
So what we do for Instagram is, because this is Skype and this is on a Mac, so the quality is really pixelated. Especially for the 1-minute podcast, we do it for the phone. Like, I ask you a question, something that's like the most important thing you want to talk about, right? So my audience can get to know you the best, and you record your answer, which is around 40 seconds. And then I would like edit it and send it to you, and then you ask me a question and I would answer it. So my answer would be on your thing and your answer would be on my thing. That's how we, and in the caption we're like, follow this guy to listen to my answer. Like, just kind of flipping audience here and for.
You're smart.
Okay.
Have you met Gary yet?
No, but I feel like every day I have a meeting with him, starting for these videos, because I mean I'm like just alone doing everything, so it gets a lot. So that's how my I don't know, consumption is.
You're gonna meet him. I'm telling you right now, you're speaking the whole thing into existence. I truly believe if you start telling people what you want, you're gonna be interviewing all these people. You're grabbing Gary's audience, because you don't know, like, I'm not this close with Gary, but what if I was very, very connected to him specifically, and I could say, hey, you have to meet this girl. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's consuming all your content. She's doing exactly what she's saying. Like, get it a 5-minute meeting, because I think 4 other people in my network personally have all worked with Gary. One got offered a job and actually didn't take it. And so it's all connected. Eventually, everything connects.
You saying that means so much to me, because it's amazing. Thank you for saying that, first of all.
You're welcome.
I have interviewed so many of Gary's employees, like 2 of them, I believe. And Yeah, they were cool and stuff, but I was like, I really wanted to work for free for people I admire. That's why I'm a very heavy consumer of also Ikonick's content, Mark and Co. I
Oh
love
my
those
gosh,
guys
I was
so
just with
much.
them. I was just with them. I
Right?
came back
Really?
on Monday. Yeah.
How are they like?
So
I know they're very, very like Gary
okay,
like
so I
people.
love Gary, but he's 40 something. He's built a $200 million company. He's almost untouchable. Like I've worked with him 3 times, and it's still like he doesn't know who I am. And so what I was talking about is we leveraged the meeting with Gary I sent a DM to Mark right when Mark did the business deal with Scooter Braun and GaryVee.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey man, I just did some work with GaryVee over Super Bowl weekend. I just finished up another project with him 2 weeks ago. Would love to film some content for free.
Yeah.
It would be really good to utilize for your personal brand since you just made this deal. I'll do it for free. I'll fly out for free. Like, you won't pay a dime. I just want to meet you and get a 15-minute meeting. It won't be a waste of your time.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, he was like, respect, sent me his cell phone number. I flew out there over New Year's, and I got a 15-minute meeting. That 15-minute meeting turned to an hour, and then I've worked with them multiple times, and they're I would consider close friends now. But they just do exactly what you're doing. They take Gary's content and they take other people's content and like literally just practice it. That's the difference. Is you can consume this content and you be like, yeah, I love Gary, and you can talk about it all day long.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to back it up? You specifically are doing it to a T. That's why I'm like, you're killing it. Like, keep doing this. If you've only done that since February, like, do this for a year and something's going to happen. And I want you to shout me out when you meet Gary.
Absolutely. Oh my God. That actually makes me cry, because I've been doing it over and over again. And now these were the days when it was just getting really overwhelming because I felt like I'm putting in so much work and I see zero results. Like people canceling and just things like that.
But he also tells you, he says, start it with the intention that you're not going to see anything with it for a year. Yeah. You have to dedicate it because people are going to remember this and you're going to meet so many more and more and more and more people. And if you have the same mentality of what you're doing, where it's like, if I have 2,000 followers, you have 1,000 followers, we can flip and then just build. If you do that, oh my gosh, you're going to win. You're going to win. Plus, that's why I asked you, like, what's going on in the space of podcasting in India? Like, I don't know.
Not a lot. So it's very different. It's very commercialized. It's not so much like people centric. You know what I mean?
Personal branding, and that's what you're doing, which is great.
Right. But I feel like I don't have anything to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like a talent sort of. That's why I get really caught up.
Because you're helping tell other people's stories. Because I made a commitment for the last 6 months that I want to get on many podcasts as humanly possible. And so I've been reaching out to a lot of people. So I was very pleased when you reached out to me. But it's because exactly what you're saying. If I go on 5 different podcasts, well, that's 5 different audiences. And then usually each of these podcasts, they want to create content for each interview. And so the last 3 podcasts they've just been sending me clips and they're like, hey, I'm going to post this. And I'll just start tossing it on my story. Yeah. And now I'm having content created for me based on my story, based on your podcast where I'm pushing the traffic for them to hear the whole length. So it's like a win-win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like on the podcast, everyone comes with a mindset that trying to build a relationship. So it's very authentic. No one's trying to sell each other on anything. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't even remember what I was going to say. What were you going to
say? Nothing. So I was asking, so this was what New Year's exactly when you met these guys? Mark and Co.
Just this last January. I have a whole blog on it. I'll send you the link. But basically, Mark sent me his cell phone number, but he's a very busy guy. He's running a massive business. And so I had to stay persistent on DMing him. He's like, hey man, like, let me know when you want to come out. And it wasn't for 3 months after he sent me his cell phone number. I was just like, hey man, I'm flying out with 3 or 4 of the guys from my agency. We're going to come to LA. Yeah. If we can get a 15-minute meeting, you will not regret it. If not, no worries. I totally understand you're busy. So we flew out not even knowing if we're going to get this 15-minute meeting. And we're just like, all right, well, if we don't get it, we're just going to take some cool photos and post it up on Instagram and have a good vacation, I guess.
Yeah.
But when we landed, he invited us over and we had a meeting, and he was pretty impressed with what we had to say and what our thoughts were, and just kind of built it from there. So,
that's
amazing. It's been very recently.
The same thing happened with these guys and Gary. Like, they just wanted a 15-minute meeting, and that turned into an hour, and the same thing happened
with Exactly.
So
That's what I'm
cool.
saying. Like, you might, especially when you're engaging in Gary's audience, like, I'm glad you're recording this, because when you meet him, you're going to have to pull this thing up, because you're like sitting here trying to like doubt yourself. You're like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm bringing to the table. And it's like, I'm telling you, I've worked with both of these guys and both of these companies. Like, you're doing everything right, but you just have to have the patience. Because if you would have told me a year into it that you're going to work with GaryVee, I would have told you you're lying, because you were. I didn't start working with Gary until 3 years into my company, and it came from the most random thing ever.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize that when you start speaking things out into the world of what you want, like if you want to meet Mark and Jeff, if you want to meet Gary, if you want to just impact the world and start a personal brand, the more that you put it out there, the more that certain things start to cross paths. It's weird. It gives me goosebumps every single time.
It is really amazing. I was just thinking, why I was getting worried on the basis is like, I was thinking all these guys worked so hard, like every day. I literally think that Gary at least pulls a 16 to 17 hour day, right? Therefore, he's been able to accomplish something so significant. And the other person I look up to is Jake. He literally pulls in 18-hour days consistently for like months, right? And if I have ambitions likewise, or if I want to work for these people, even if it's for free, I should be the person who should be able to pull in like these kind of days. You know what I'm saying? And producing more and like being more productive, and how like
But you're also
valuable
20.
can I be?
You're 20. And Jake Paul's younger too, but Jake Paul has a lot of financial resources and a big team to help him.
This is now, like earlier when he just started out, when he had no one, when he just moved out with his brother from like Ohio to LA. He was still working like a beast. Therefore, is the reason that he's been able to accomplish what he's been able to accomplish in a short time, because of the ambitious work. Like you can still accomplish.
I mean, I put in 17-hour days all the time. So are you saying that you can't do that, or what are you saying?
No, I've been struggling with that a little bit, because I feel like I'm back home and all I'm doing is like over the internet and online. And I feel like I have so much to give in me as a person to like learn and to be able to train. And I feel just like I'm in a box. Even if I'm doing this, it doesn't feel like I'm tapping into like even 10% potential of mine, what I can actually do like in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would follow that 80-20 rule that Gary talks about. Do 80% of the podcast. Try to DM if it takes 20 people to say no for one person to say yes, I would hit up 100 people a day. And it's going to be tough. But again, you're on the internet, and if you can get 5 people and you can line that up, I'm telling you, if you do that for a year, something's going to happen. Whatever you want is going to happen. But I don't know. I mean, I might have gotten lucky, but to have it happen, to get lucky with meeting Gary and working with Gary, and meeting Ikonick and working with Ikonick, the 2 people that I really look up to. The third one is Scooter Braun. I'm going to meet Scooter Braun. But it's just putting in the endless hours. It's finding something that is fueling your passion, which it sounds like you love talking to people and hearing about all the different stuff with same mindset and building that relationship with people. I'm telling you, if you stay persistent, you've been doing it for what? Just like 4 months, 5 months.
February, yeah. 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, you got time. I would just keep doing what you're doing, and then take that 20% of, like what you said, like tasting things. Like, so my mentality is, I tried to build a relationship around everyone around Gary, because everyone's hitting up Gary. So I'm hitting up Babin, I'm hitting up Seth, I'm hitting up Kranich. I'm hitting up everyone around him because they're a lot more accessible than Gary himself, and they can get that meeting. You know what I mean?
Smart. This is exactly what I was doing. I saw Jake and I wanted to work for free, and he would like never hit me up. I hit up everyone from his like chef to his gym trainer and calling them on my podcast to build a relationship and shit like that. But I feel like those guys are so like media centric that it really doesn't work out like that. You know what I'm saying?
But I will tell you, being around these people, they're still giving off a perception. When you're sitting in a room and looking at how this person's running a $100 million company, it's like, I'm just as capable of doing that. It's just literally relentlessly working towards something. You'll look back and you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I was only doing that much last year, and now I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but that's my intake.
How did you get started? Like, what's your story of like where you are now from like the beginning?
Yeah, so my story is different. So we had to come up with a fake business and come up with all the thought processes of what that would look like before I got started. And so 11 out of it was in a class project. And so I think there was 12 groups total. 10 or 11 of them all did clothing lines because it was very easy to conceptualize selling t-shirts and coming up with a fake business just to get the project done.
Yeah.
I've always been in sales. I like fashion. I like marketing. I like the way things look.
Yeah.
And so I had been selling school newspaper advertising. I've done door-to-door sales. So I know how to take a no.
Yeah.
And so I also knew what people were spending in marketing. And so when we had this class project, it was like, okay, if we're going to spend a whole semester on this thing, we could just do it for the homework assignment, or we could do a little bit extra work and make some money. And so we sat around. It was a group of 4 people, and I was just like, well, what if we started a social media marketing company and called it Social Butterfly? We're like, yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe we'll change up the name when we come up with a better one. And it just kind of stuck. And so from there, I started reaching out to all the people that I was selling school newspaper to and saying, I can bring more college students to your business. So I started out with food because most college students like to eat out. And so I started marketing their social media accounts and doing it for free, then for a little bit of money, and then for a little bit of more money. And then I would go to some of the other clients that we're working with and just literally trial and error. But you have to understand that if you're not confident in yourself, no one else is going to be confident in you. And so that was the advantage that I had of working in sales, is I got told no so many times. I don't know if you've ever tried door-to-door sales. It'll make you into an animal because you're just so used to negative feedback and no one believes in you. And then you get that one sale and it's like a rush. And so I guess I kind of used that mentality into my business where it's like, I'm just going to tell people what I think. And if one person believes in it, I'm going to feel that rush again. And then we're going to take that and we're going to do it to the next person. We're going to do it to the next person. And so I started the company. I own 100% of the company, but I've always had a team around me, which is very, very impactful of where we are today, because a lot of people, they just try to be, I don't know, like a sleazy business person and just try to like not like provide value to your team back. And they just want to make a lot of money, where from the very get-go, I'm very transparent with my team, telling them what's coming in, what the potentials are, why I want to go down this direction, and investing into my team too, right? Because here's the general basis. 20 years ago, you had 2 or 3 jobs, you worked there for 40 years, and you're done. Nowadays, for people like me and you, we're probably going to have 40 jobs. And that's the realistic factor. So how do you keep people there? Well, I'm telling people right when I sit down with them and I interview them, okay, great. You want to be in an agency, you want to work with some of the stuff we're doing? Love it. What else do you want to do? I tell everyone, I'm like, I don't look at any resumes. I'm like, what do you want to do in life?
Yeah.
And I'm finding out, like, the person that I hired as a photographer, he wants to be a sports agent. And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, I can't make you a sports agent today, but maybe in 6 years we can cross that path and make it. But at least I now know, so when that opportunity comes, I can connect those. Because when an employee clocks in every single day for working at the agency, I'm getting what I want out of them. In exchange, I'm giving them money. I'm compensating them. But that's what everyone's doing. So how do you stand different? I do what they want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You make them feel so valued and acknowledge their visions, which is like the coolest thing.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's the answer, but that's what we're doing right now. And, you know, like I said, we doubled in size in the last 6 months in terms of how many employees we have. So clearly something's working.
Yeah.
But it's always a guessing game. And that's just the nature of entrepreneurship. There's no right or wrong answer. It's you test it out and you see what the market says, and you bring it back and you either adjust it or you keep it going. So it's been a learning curve, because I'm only 23. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
But I put myself out there in the early beginning, so now I learn a lot faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what is something that
Which is
you
exactly what you're
love doing the most in your whole business?
Chasing. I love chasing. So what I mean by that is, okay, GaryVee, for example. How cool would it be to work with GaryVee? How cool would it be to work with an NFL athlete? And so, you know, when you have all these dreams and aspirations, a lot of people get caught up that they're so untouchable. And so we try to pinpoint every single year, who are some people we want to work with? And I ask my employees too, because if it's just me getting what I want, again, I'm never going to win. I'm going to lose people. Yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, if you could work with anyone in the agency, like who would it be? And one of my employees said Drama from Young and Reckless. It was a big show, and when we were growing up, and I was like, we're going to do it. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're going to do it. And we spoke it into existence. And I just met him last weekend, shook his hand. And I brought that guy that told me he wanted to meet him. But it was because I was with Mark and Jeff from Ikonick, and they did this big event, and we leveraged our personal brand. So I just love like seeing what our full potential is and then surpassing our full potential, because we're just on another level. We're trying to speak everything into existence, have momentum, and provide as much value and just see what happens. Because we could fall on our face, and I'm 23.
Yeah.
I have a long time to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with you.
Yeah.
You're younger than me, so you have a lot more time.
That's amazing. I was just wondering, because when you said that you're continuously putting so many hours a day, like what keeps you going throughout the day?
You got to realize that when you start any kind of business, when you start to see results, it's addicting because it's straight from scratch. I mean, I was in my college house. It was a beat up old college house downtown, and I had like a little T-shirt that I printed social butterfly onto it, and I hung it up. And I have a picture of it. It's kind of like the Jeff Bezos with the Amazon thing that everyone's been talking about on the internet. Yeah. And so when you see that and you just like, it feels like you're never making any progress. Like you have your ups and downs, but it just kind of feels like you're spinning in circles. And then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I even make that happen? And so putting in the long hours and just seeing the results and seeing things and looking back over time that we created this, and we're creating all of our own opportunities. There's not a boss above me, or there's not someone saying, hey, if I was in your guys' position, here's what I would do. We're straight up coming together in a room. It's like, how can we make this better? How can we get more out of this? What can we do to provide more value to other people? What do we want to do in life? Because at the end of the day, we're going to be working for 80% of our life. What do we want to do? Yeah. I'm still trying to figure that question out. Yeah. I just like doing what I'm doing right now. So it's just finding something that chases your passion.
That's amazing. So what would you say that, what is your end goal? Like, what is it that you would want to like achieve, something that's going to like bring you absolute happiness?
To be honest, I'm still asking myself that. I don't know. It's weird because, okay, so so think of the thought process of living in the gap. What does that mean? Okay, so when I first started my agency, I thought it'd be incredibly cool to work with GaryVee. By the time I got to actually meet GaryVee, my goals and my aspirations changed. And so when I met GaryVee, I started back here. My thought was meeting GaryVee here. By the time I got here, my goals, my aspirations shifted over here. And so it's always shifting and you're always chasing something. I don't know. I don't know what my end goal is right now. Mm-hmm. I think it's just to just make sure that whatever I'm doing, it's my true happiness. And it's the more that I chase that, the less I care about other people's opinions. Because even just, I shifted all of my, like, I don't follow a lot of people from my high school because I was getting negativity. They're like, oh, you think you're cool running your business, blah, blah, blah. Like, you hear all of that. Yeah. Where now, fast forward 2 years later, half those people are asking me for a job. And so when I started like chasing my passion and putting my passion out in the world, I got a lot of hate in the beginning, but now everyone's like, you're like famous now. I'm like, no, I've just worked with some cool people because I chased my dreams and I didn't care what you guys were saying beforehand. So
I see. How long was it that you saw like your first like major result since you started your business?
I'm not going to lie, the very first company that we approached, I asked him for $500 a month, and we were going to put $150 every single month of that $500 back into Facebook. And so when I first did that and he signed up, that was the most that was bigger than any paycheck that I've ever gotten. And I just sold that in 5 minutes. And I saw that we just sold the 6-month contract. And so it was the capacity that this guy was writing me a check for $500 because he believed in me. And when that happened, I just started like, okay, this is something big. Like, clearly I'm onto something. Like, how big can we build this? And that's what the question for the last couple of years is how big can we build this? We really don't know. Just because the digital space is obviously becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And if Gary's running a $200 million company, what am I capable of? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you gravitate towards like making your own content, like documenting your own process?
So we just started a vlog and it has changed everything. We said we were going to do a vlog for a long time. Yeah. We tried to do a vlog for a decent amount of time, but then we went just like all in. We hired 2 people, one to film 2 days a week and one to edit remotely. And it changed everything for 2 reasons. One, because now it's a sales tool. It's a recruiting tool. Our content is way better. Yeah. We haven't even posted a project of our own in the last probably 3 or 4 months, but our phones have been off the hook because they're like, how are they hiring all these people? But it's because all these people want to work for us for free because we focused on our culture and trying to build such a cool business internally that everyone's looking at us like, how are they growing so quick? We need to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm going on these like endlessly rants because I'm still. You're catching me at a really weird time in my career because I got asked that question. What do you want to do in life? And I'm in Minnesota, and it's a smaller pool. And I won Young Entrepreneur of the Year this year, and I've won some major awards.
I saw that on Instagram.
Thank you. So I'm winning these awards, but for the most, I have my mentors, and there are people that push me, and my team motivates me a lot. But for the most part, I'm trusting my gut, and I'm finding what I can on YouTube, and I'm spitting it back to the company. Or do I try to move out to LA and try to build the connections with the bigger people and just be the dumbest person in the room for the next 5 years? That's a question I don't know. But after working with Ikonick and some of the guys there, it just opened up the potential that I think they're big fish and they're small fish compared to the big fish. So that makes me like a minnow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I gravitate towards just trying to find the people that have the same mindset, similar to what you're doing.
I see, that's so cool because I see that you're so well spoken, and when I landed on your Instagram page, I couldn't really figure out exactly what it is that you guys do. I had to like really look into it.
Everyone asked that, and it used to make me so mad for so long. But I actually kind of like it because people are intrigued by it. They're like, okay, something's going on, but what do you specifically do? And then it starts the conversation, and I'm a sales guy, so then I can have an actual conversation of what we do. But yeah, we're trying to formulate that, and I think having the vlog is going to help tell our story a little bit more. We look like we only do photo and video, but actually 80% of our business is paid social. So we're spending a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram for all of our clients and creating content and building strategy.
Yeah. So why not make your own videos and stuff on Instagram? Like just use that so much dope stuff during the whole process. Like just filming these 1-minute clips and putting them on Instagram. And I
literally just posted it right before I got on the phone with you. So go back to my Instagram page.
I see that. I was just on your page. I was studying it. I was trying to see what you do. Yeah. So you spoke at an event. What was that like?
So it wasn't an event. I get asked to come speak in front of the business and marketing classes at the university where I went to college. And my business is in the same town that I went to college. And so I just love it. Like it's like a drug to me. I love talking in front of people. I'm kind of like Gary, where like I don't prepare anything, and I go up there and I just like spit some fire, and I don't even remember what I even said. And so that's why we started documenting that, filming it, because now we're going to regurgitate that, put the 1-minute clips on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We just started that 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely starting to vlog and document our story and get that more out to people.
Yeah, I feel like because what happens is, I remember talking to one of Gary's employees, and I was asking him what is his end of mission, and he was like a videographer there. So he said that one day he would want to start his like own kind of agency, which is like just very photo and videography like kind of centric thing, right? And I was like, why don't you start creating your own content? And he was such a dope guy, we just had a great conversation. And I was telling him what happens is that what Gary says, why the views and numbers don't matter, is because you just don't know who ends up watching it. And they'll connect with you as a person, because they'll always be a better photographer, better videographer. But if I connect with you, like I really love your personality and what you stand for and stuff, irrespective of how good someone is, I would want to work with you,
Right, yeah, and literally, like, we just shifted that, and it's something that I battle with all the time. For as confidence that I am, I'm still somewhat self-insecure. And so, like, literally before I posted that video, I was talking to two of my employees. I was like, do I post this, like, right now? Like, do I post it later tonight? I want to see them, and not just to get more likes, but I want to impact the most amount of people. But how you do that is you just be persistent, and you just start putting stuff out there. And so that's what we're doing. So hold me accountable, keep an eye on me, because you're going to see a lot more.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, like, so many people I speak with, because everyone's like a consumer of Gary, everyone knows what to do, right? Everyone knows what the recipe is, like more content is oxygen. And everyone's kind of thrilled when I like kind of speak with them. But then what people get caught up in is making content. Like, what will I say? Will I look stupid? I don't look good, and like, just things like that, right?
Here's the thing: nobody likes to see themselves on camera, and nobody likes to hear their own voice. But the minute you get over that, because So I went on my very first podcast. I'm like, dude, I don't even want to post this. I sound like an idiot. And then like 4 people DM me. They're like, dude, this was so cool. I just impacted 4 people's lives. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I 100% agree with you. And I need to just put my ego out of the way and just start putting out more content.
Yeah, you know, it's one of the most liberating feelings. I wanted to do like this whole video thing since 2018 January when I discovered about YouTube. And I made like endless videos and I couldn't get over. I was like, fuck, I look stupid as fuck. Like, I'm never putting this out there. Like, people are gonna come for me. And then it just took me a year to get over how I look because I was like, you know what? I have so much to offer to the world. And if I just hold myself back because of how I look, I'm really gonna regret it. And it's been so liberating. I got a chance to meet people, create content, things I did not know that I had, you know. And then so I studied about the 1%ers. So 1%ers are the people who are like earn above 400,000 a year, right? And I studied about what is that differentiates them from the 99%. And it's just that they're the same people, you know. They deal with insecurities. They still get like super uncomfortable, comfortable, scared, all sorts of shit. But what they do is like, irrespective of how insecure I am on the inside, I'm still gonna go ahead and execute, you know. Irrespective of how fearful I am, I'm still gonna go ahead and take that risk. So I said, like, am I gonna be like the majority of the people who are as insecure as me about putting themselves on camera, or am I gonna take the leap and, like, you know, really put it out there and
build a brand? Because almost everyone is lazy. The reason why me and you are talking is because we're not lazy people and we see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And you put your ego aside and you started recording yourself and doing this crazy podcast, which you're just DMing people on Instagram. That's the first time I've ever been DM'd and asked in that sense where I don't even know who you are. But that's why I said yes, because I respected the shit out of it. I loved it. It made me so happy. I went and told my team, I was like, yo, I just got asked to be on a podcast. I don't even know what's going on or what it is, but I'm doing it.
That's amazing.
Just because I think it's so valuable. And I think, you know, now I have a connection in India.
Absolutely, you do, of course. You know, I learned this from fucking Gary as well. He just said, like, everything goes down in the DMs, and just hearing him for like
the power of the DM, insane.
Exactly. So kept watching his content over and over again, and I really, really wanted to like just go out and do something. You know, I was so over not doing anything.
Just thinking about it, not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, like, if you're not producing content, you're insecure as fuck. And that hurt me. I was like, I'm not. And then it just...
But you were.
I know. And then, like, just putting that... He really, like, hits you where it hurts. So that got to me.
He's straightforward. Everyone in this world is passive as fuck. And when you become transparent and real, a lot of people aren't going to resonate with that, but the right ones will.
Absolutely.
The right ones will.
I feel that on so many levels, you know. That I remember reading this somewhere that once you're real, you can never be ugly, you know. So whenever you're saying something like that's absolutely true to your whole life, it's never going to be stupid. It's never going to sound like cliche, you know?
Right. When you are who you truly are, you don't have to remember anything.
It's like the absolute, like the most truthful thing ever. And the right people will be able to connect with that, you know?
Yeah. The world works in crazy ways. That's why we're talking. What time is it there right now?
Oh my God. It's 2:12 a.m. Like 2:30 a.m. Yeah, so all my podcasts at this time because of the time difference.
Oh my gosh, it's 3 p.m. here. I'm gonna post this on my story right now.
I'm still so insecure of the camera. Thank God.
No, you're okay. You're okay. I just have to have mad respect for you. Yeah. Do that again. I'm gonna do a boomerang. Do that again.
Okay.
I love it. Damn. You're talking about like how do you put in 17 hours? You're grinding at 2 a.m. I don't even do that a lot of the time because I need my sleep because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go work out. Like that's my routine. Mm-hmm. But you're like, well, how do you put in the work? You're doing it right now. That's what I'm saying. Like you're asking all these questions. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm telling you, something's gonna happen.
But then you know, like I sleep super late. Like I sleep like at 8 a.m. sometimes because then I edited it, so like it takes a lot of time. And then, like, I wake up late. So it's just the other way around, but it's kind of, it's a little bit of work, you know, I don't see sunlight so many times.
Do you mainly interview people from the States or all over?
The thing is, whoever I interact with Gary is mainly from, like, LA. And one of my biggest goals is to move to LA by October. So I'm also trying to find people from there to build relationship and establish my roots so that when I go there, I'm not, like, alone and, like, lost. So
When are you trying to move to LA?
in October, and that's a goal.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know how that's
Do
gonna
it.
happen. It's just so complicated. It's just the visa and fuck, it's just too much.
Yeah, I
So
bet. So what do you do for work outside of the podcast?
nothing. I just got over with high school, and I wanted to do this. I remember praying about. So it's funny. I read a book, and it spoke about what does it mean to be successful, and it said that it's when you're working on something that lights your eyes up. And I remember like really praying that I really want to find something that lights my eyes up. And that's when I discovered YouTube. And I saw so many young people like just working hard and making it on their own. And one of the biggest
Making
things,
their own path.
you know, and one of the biggest things in India is the education system and how difficult. Like, so when I was in the 11th grade, there was this guy who took up science and then he failed his class 11. So the principal called him and told him he's a piece of shit, he's never gonna accomplish anything, and all sorts of things. And then he came back home and then he took his life. It was out in the newspaper. And it was funny because I just moved to that school and I hated that fucking school. And I remember this guy trying to speak to me and I never spoke to him because I never spoke with anyone. But then that
Yeah.
just really hit me because I'm a person who's all about like possibilities, you know, like irrespective of you tell me like you want to be a fisher, my mind would start working. How can we make money off of that? You know, like how can you be happy and just all sorts of things and make it interesting.
Right.
And when I heard this, it really blew my mind off because I always thought that you can never judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. And this wasn't one thing, you know. I heard it over and over again where kids didn't have 80% attendance, so they couldn't take their test, and then they took their life. And these are like thousands of kids every year. And I felt like that is where I started to kind of find my purpose. That I wanted to take like the unconventional route and create my wealth and create my own path. And be an example for the young kids that there's so much out there in the world except a formal education, you know? And I'm so heavy on education, but I chose who I got educated on. Whether it was business books written by people who've already built successful business. Or was it Gary? Or was it Jake? You know, like things, and I'm not just learning like how to be a good marketer, but I'm learning about like discipline, perseverance, how to be a
Being a
good
good
person, how to
person,
like
yeah.
give back, how to develop confidence. And therefore I chose not to go to college and really thrive in this kind of the social media and entertainment industry in the business side and truly like bring a shift in the education system. That's where I see my goal. That's where I've kind of found my purpose and just still trying to like navigate how I'm going to like accomplish that, you know.
That is a soundbite. You need to cut that. That's going on Instagram tomorrow. That was inspirational. Like you had me drawn in, and I didn't like you're educating people on like what the culture is out there
Yeah.
and why going against the grain
Yeah.
is the right answer.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly not working for the masses. When you do what you're gonna do, and you're gonna continue doing this for a year, even if no one does anything for you,
Yeah.
it's gonna pay off. Because the harder it is to get over the hill,
Yeah.
the bigger the slope is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's so true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I spoke with so many of my friends and everyone was going to college and they just hated that shit. They're not learning anything. All they do is like party and like cheap fucking parties because you're broke in college. Like just stupid shit. You know, you're not even like living the life.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah,
it
it
just
doesn't
didn't.
make sense.
So-
Yeah, one of my employees actually just dropped out because he was learning so much working with real businesses and working with social media every single day that it was like, it doesn't make sense. The only reason why I say to still go to school is if you don't know what to do, it's a good opportunity to taste everything
Yeah.
and to network. Because there's never going to be a time in your life where you're going to be around so many different people doing so many different things that a lot of the businesses that's happening now with my business is people that I met first and second year in college that
Yeah.
they're now graduated doing their thing. So,
Yeah.
and what you're doing right now, you're building your network, and
Yeah.
everything comes down to network. Everything comes
Absolutely.
down to
Yeah.
network.
And I feel like if you're like going to pay for college and you're going to invest that 4 years into something that you care nothing about, if you really want to network, imagine investing 2 hours, like 2 years into Instagram and contacting as
Just
many people as
DMing.
possible.
Yes.
That would be a way better network. I feel. Like
Are you on LinkedIn?
I just created a LinkedIn account because Gary keeps saying it has really good reach.
Go hard. Go hard. I'm telling you right now, I posted a video of me winning this award on Facebook. It got 1.7K views organically, no money behind it. On LinkedIn, it got 8,000 views. It's the organic reach is insane. Connect with me on there, and we're gonna post. You need to post the interviews that you're doing here because Instagram's great, but LinkedIn, they're going to find so much more value in what you're doing, and you're actually probably going to build a faster audience off LinkedIn is my prediction.
Really? I couldn't understand LinkedIn so much. I was really trying to study it, and it's really different. Yeah. One
But
thing I was
I'm telling you, do it. Do it.
I will. Now that you're telling me that, I will. Like, I'm still trying to figure out. So I've tried to take these 1-minute clips and distribute it to like Facebook, Instagram. Facebook, Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn. Sorry, and Instagram is like a separate clip. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. Sure. Yeah. I'll do that to LinkedIn.
Follow me on LinkedIn. I do the exact same thing you're talking about, and just watch what I do, and then if you need help with anything, I can help you too.
Absolutely, I'll do that. So one of the things I want to ask you, so you've been meeting these amazing, great people. What is like one of the most important things that you've learned just being around them that you didn't know before? Like, even though you consumed everything?
Self-awareness, personal skill sets, and relationship. That's I like live by that now. So self-awareness, I just put the video out like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But the self-awareness is, I just made a caption and it said, when I first heard the word be more self-aware or have self-awareness, I was like, okay, another motivational quote with a Ferrari in the background. What does it mean? I kept scrolling. Yeah. And then I started studying Mark. I started studying Rob Dyrdek, GaryVee, all these people, and it's a common theme. They're all talking about it one way or another. And I started really thinking about what that means. And it's really just doubling down on your strengths. So you're good at talking to people, and maybe you're not good at taking photos. Well, finding someone that takes photos and being vulnerable to be able to say, I'm not good at taking photos, because nowadays everyone wants to do everything. Yeah, it's not what you need to be doing. Yeah. If you want to be good at everything, chase it. But if you're good at some things and terrible at other things, double down on those things. And so self-awareness is one of the biggest pieces that helped me navigate to where I am today. I would say, what was the other ones I said? Self-awareness, personal skill set. So honing in on those things that you're good at and knocking them out of the park. Becoming the best, and becoming the thought leader in the space has changed everything. And so we used to just post projects. Like, oh, we did this with this client, we did this with this client, we did this with this client. We thought that was the answer. We thought that's what people wanted to see. Yeah. Now we started a talk show, kind of like Ask GaryVee, and we said, hey, we messed up. We were just talking about what we thought everyone wanted to hear. What do you guys actually want to hear? And then we took all of those comments. We're going to make a 5-minute video teaching them exactly what they want to know. Because, like I said, most people are lazy. Yeah. They're going to now think that I'm the expert and they want to work with me. And then the last thing is relationships. And that's obviously something we just talked about, is networking and building true, valuable relationships. You could sit there and DM 100 people and you could have a 1-minute conversation and not build any relationship. You just know who they are. Yeah. But now me and you, like, I want to do favors for you because I'm understanding that you're real. Like, you're on the same wavelength as me. You're ambitious. You're younger than me. So that makes me want to go harder, because I see someone like you and starting at 20, I'm like, shit. You know what I mean? You got to start. But those are the 3 things that, between Gary, Ikonick, and some of the other people that I met, personal skill set, relationships, and self-awareness is something that they all talk about.
And what is one of the biggest things that you feel like these people are looking for in other people? Does that make sense? You know, what is something that because so many people are constantly reaching them, what is something that they look out for in people, and what is something that they don't like is like a red flag for them?
Value. I would say value first. Like, even for me, like, I don't run a massive business. I'm seeing some successes. Yeah. And I get like 3 or 4 DMs a day of people like, hey, I just want to sit down with 15 minutes of you. Okay, what do I get out of it? And not to like be selfish about it, but like, my 15 minutes with you, someone that I don't really know, that they just want to learn about running an agency. Yeah. What value does that bring to me? And so anytime I send a DM or anytime I'm trying to reach out to someone, I'm trying to stand out and provide as much value, because now I caught their attention. And then once you capture their attention, to just be who you say you are, because a lot of these people on Instagram, they're not who they say they are. And so they might have a really good DM, they might capture their attention, they go meet this guy, and they're like, who the hell is this person on Instagram? That's not you, bro. And so, I don't know. Just from my perspective, I would say value first, and that's why I got the meeting with Mark. Yeah. Is because I said, I'll fly out for free. I'll do everything for free. I just want to meet 15 minutes of your time. And so red flag is just not being who you say you are, and just having a false persona of who you are, because, okay, you might get more followers in the front end,
Yeah.
No one's going to respect you when they find out that you're phony, you're fake, you're not who you say you are. So it's all about the long game, and you know that.
Yeah, I see. That's so interesting because I kept thinking that I did not. That is why I wanted to build. I felt like I have so much that I'm sitting on, like because I not because I'm like special or some shit, because I kept like just educating myself so much. It was when my teachers told me I was a fucking loser. I was like what? You guys don't get it. Like,
Man, these teachers in India are savage.
no, because it's not just here. I remember Jake speaking about how his teachers gave him a difficult time, and I was like the cool kid, so I was never bullied by students, but I was bullied by my teachers, and it was so bad. Like I would get a fever, I was fucking like depressed as shit. It was a bad time for me, and that is when I started getting into it more and more. I was like, what is happening? What is going wrong? And then I saw that the culture that we are creating, and then the future are the kids, you know? What we are thinking today is what is going to be India like 2030, is what is going to be the world in 2030, you know? Because India's one
You're ahead of your time. You need to know that. You're ahead of your time. Just remember that. If you get down into your lows, just remember me telling you that, because you are. I'm telling you right now. People said the same shit to me.
No idea how much that shit means to me. I was literally sitting here doubting myself. I was like, fuck, like, I don't know where I stand in the world, but...
Don't. If you ever feel like that, shoot me a DM. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about it because you're ahead of your time. I'm hold me to that. I'm not lying. You can definitely do that.
Thank you so much.
I think you have something special, and if you actually keep on to what you're doing for the next year, I'm telling you, you're gonna have one kind of break. I don't know who it's gonna be. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Something's gonna happen. I'm helping speak it into existence for you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Because the thing about LA was, I was like, all right, even if I get the visa thing done, it's so intimidating for me to move there. You know, I don't know where I stand.
It's a crazy city. It's a crazy fucking city. But I'm sure.
But it's so weird. Like, I just spoke with this dancer. His name is Phil Wright. He's right now on like 200K, and he's like just professionally dances. And he was on my podcast, and he was telling me how he was broke and he was sleeping in his car with his girlfriend, and he just made a decision to move from Miami to LA. And I was like, how big of a part did LA actually play in your career? He's like the biggest. That is where he was able to meet people. That is where he got like all the exposure that he needed. So I was just thinking, like, am I being fearful, thinking that I'm not ready? Or, I don't know, just the weirdest thoughts.
I'm in the same boat as you. Because I could be the top dog in Minnesota, and all the people who are in LA, when they go to the Midwest, like, I'm the guy they go to. And that's what happened when I got my first project from Ikonick. They called me after I met them 3 weeks later because they needed some help filming NBA All-Star Weekend, and they had no one in the Midwest. Yeah. I'm the only guy they knew from the Midwest, so they called me, and that was my breaking point to just show my value.
Yeah.
But that's the same questions I'm battling right now. It's like, do I move to LA? Do I stay here? I don't know.
How much do you want to? Like, how much?
I almost did when I graduated high school. I almost moved out there, and I chickened out for a girl. Chickened out, and I stayed back. And it wasn't. I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
I think it was the right decision for the right time, but now I'm on another playing field and just trying to figure out what's the best move. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's different.
But I feel like you're in so much of a better place. You have financial backing. You can take care of yourself. Take that leap. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I don't know.
And because your thing is so much like client oriented, it's going to be so much easier for you to tap people in LA. And so many like influencer kind of people, right? Like, I don't know if you have an Instagram page, right? I was just speaking with a photographer, and it was so weird. I was telling him how he can collaborate, and I was like, listen, you're in LA, and he was there only for a month. I was like, offer to like just take photos for free for people like these micro influencers, and you're in LA, you can like have leverage over that and be like, I'll Lightroom the photos, I'll do everything for you for free. All you have to do is like give me a shout out. And I was like, as many people you do it with, you'll become like super like
your paid project.
You know, like, and I was like, stay connected, build your following, and I feel like once you build your following, that already gives you leverage over so many other people.
You know what's funny? Is you just answered your own question. You need to move to LA and just do exactly what you just talked about. Just answered your own question.
But what would I do? You know, I'm like, you know
what are your skills? What are your skills?
I wish I knew.
You don't know?
I'd really like, I don't know.
So then maybe your skill is you just podcast people and you help tell their story and you promote them. You promote them. So I started a networking event because I'm connected to a lot of people on Instagram, and I would go and sit down and talk to my one buddy and be like, oh, I heard of that person through this person, of this person. Oh, I know that one. And everyone was like, it was like a giant spider web where not everyone knew each other directly, but they all knew someone through like 3 or 4 different people. Yeah. So I started a networking event, and I put all these people in the same room. I messaged all them like, yo, come to this event, come to this event, come to this event.
Yeah.
I get nothing out of it. I actually lose a lot of money, but it's a long play because I'm putting them all in the same room. Mm-hmm. And that's the value that I'm adding to them, is I'm connecting them. You don't need a skill set to connect people, but it's a very, very, very valuable piece in anything you do. So maybe that's your play. Maybe you just go and connect people. Maybe you go down in the streets of LA and you become the girl who walks up on random people and be like, hey, do you want to be on my 1-minute podcast? And now you're using everyone else's unique stories because everyone in LA has a unique story. Yeah. And you're just helping tell that. I don't know.
That is so amazing.
I think there's a lot that you could do.
That I know. It's so weird you said that because I'm just getting crippled by the weirdest things. I was like, I don't know anyone, like a friend, you know, like someone I can fall back on. Because back here I'm with my parents, right? Like there's security, there's a car, there's home, like we rule the city, well-to-do and stuff. There I'll be all by myself. And I was just thinking weird things like...
It'll push you in a corner, and when your back's against the wall, that's when you do the best things of your life. Always. That was something that Mark told me directly. He said when I asked him, I was sitting in the car with him, I said, bro, I'm 23. I'm starting to see success in my business, my agency. Yeah. What were you doing when you were my age? He said, bro, when I was 22, 23, I was sleeping on my sister's couch. I was broke as a joke. I was selling everything out of my closet for as low as $15, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. But that's when he started conceptualizing, and he started doing the managing of the artists, and then met Jeff, and then it kind of evolved. But it was because his back was against the wall, he had to look at different options. Yeah. I don't know. I can't make that decision for you, but I think you just answered your own question.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the strategy I had in mind, I was like, once we get the visa thing working and stuff, I like in the day I would work for people for free, like maybe like small startup CEOs that I really look up to them, and then take a night shift at like fucking Whole Foods or Burger King or some shit, you know, like you know, just like you gotta pay the bills, and just kind of still navigating through that. Kind of so
October. I'm following up with you in October. I'm gonna let you know. I'm like, hey, are you close? Did you miss your goal? Like, what's the next plan? Like, and if you move out there, I'll fly out and I'll come say what's up, and we'll do an in-person interview.
Really? That is so cool.
Yeah, I'm out there all the time.
Then why don't you make the plan to move? Like, you are in so much of a better position than I am.
But because I'm doing what I want to have, like, if I can go out to LA once a month, do I realistically need to move there? If I'm out there for a week at a time, so 3 weeks I'm in Minnesota, 1 week I'm in LA, and I can run my business from both, I'm growing a market that's not all the way there in Minnesota. I'm building that to the top. And then LA, I still have, like, a lot of legwork before I can just pick up and go because... I don't know. There's some things that I can't say on camera. I'll DM you of the things that are actually going on, but it's very real. Once you make that decision, it's very, very real.
I know, but is it like I'm just trying to understand? When are you the happiest? Are you, like, the most excited and
I meet people.
The perfect place is where you're the most excited. At the same time, you're the most fearful. I feel like that is where LA is for you.
I don't know. Maybe we just convinced each other to move there. I don't know.
I mean, I swear, you're in such a better position. I literally have to go through a fucking visa process and so much shit, right? You at least have financial backing. I don't have to take, I just take a little money from my parents to move. I would have to grind every single dollar, thinking, what if I'm on the street? What if I'm, like, couch surfing? Like, that shit's intimidating, you know? I feel like I'm mentally strong, but I don't know, like, what that rock bottom is going to look like. So,
I don't know. You might become more successful than I am. Oh. And I'm still young. I still got a long way to go and a lot of lessons to learn, but your mentality is just on point. I'm telling you, you're ahead of your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I love that.
You're welcome.
Sorry, it was just like I never write questions initially, but then I remember my 5th and 6th podcast, the person wasn't kind of responding, and then we just came to a point where we were like, what do I say? Right. You know what I'm saying? It was just so difficult. And since then, I just started writing like bullet points, like in case we come to that point, I can pick up from there, right? So I was asking you like about like risk and fear. I know we just discussed it right now, but what is your take on like fear? Like, was it something you were very, very fearful about in your whole process that you kind of overcame and then that turned into something else?
So, okay, this will be a little bit of a left curve on you, but so what was fearful of me is that I was never going to find an identity. So I have an identical twin brother. Okay. Identical. And so when I was growing up, I would always get to refer to as, oh, you're one of the twins. I was never branded.
Yeah.
And so that kind of messes with you mentally because I've tried playing sports. I'm not an athlete. And so now I'm trying to think, I'm like, okay, what am I good at? What are people going to know me for?
Yeah.
And so I was really, really scared to start the business. And when I started it, I got a lot of like hashbacks, like, oh, like Social Butterfly, that's a girly name. Like, really, you're going to start a marketing company? Like, you don't even know what you're still in school. Like, how are you going to tell people what to do for marketing? And so actually, like, just putting it out there, telling it out, like, I literally put a post like, hey, I'm starting this company. Here's what we're going to do. We're like doing the next biggest thing. I was ignorant. But when I did that, it was one of the most scary things and intimidating things. And I just kept chasing it. So now I have an identity. I'm a marketing person. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm me. I'm a branding person. And so when I just kept pushing that, I don't know. I'm the type of person who was like, I almost work with a chip on my shoulder. I'm always trying to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
And so my biggest fear was, one, getting started and not ever finding a true identity. And then I just worked my ass off. Now I have an identity.
That's amazing. I can relate to that a little bit because I had an older sister and no one called me with my name. They call me Radhika's sisters here.
Really?
But
how much older is she than you?
She's like 7 years older to me. But I was always like best friends with all her friends. So no one would ever take me seriously. And I was like always the kid in the group, you know, like
would you say, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
please.
this is interesting. Would you say that hanging around older people is why you have a different mindset?
Yeah.
Same. And maybe that's a cheat code that most people don't talk about is hang around older people because you're going to be on another mentality.
Absolutely.
Always. I've always hung out with older people.
I have like literally one of my best friends right now. She's my neighbor's mother. She's the most incredible person I've ever met. She's one of the smartest person I've ever met. She's taught me so much. I hated books, but she always saw potential in me, which I never saw in myself. Just because she's just amazing, you know, she can see right through you. And she always recommended me books like The Secret, Do Cool Shit. And I was like, I hate books. She's like, read it. It's going to help you. Read it. And because I was so alone at school, I never spoke with anyone. I started like just reading because to ignore people. And those books changed my life. They changed my...
Cheat codes.
And the kind of discussions I had with her when I couldn't understand things from her perspective, and she's a successful entrepreneur. And the conversations we have are so different. And therefore, I had a very difficult time making friends. Yes, it's a cheat code. I feel like you get so much wiser, but it's kind of a lonely road.
But you can't relate to anyone. Yeah, you can't relate to anyone.
You can't. I have zero fucking friends. It was fucking terrible.
Same. All the people that are my friends I work with. But it's because people our age, they just want to go and party and like do bullshit and then complain about everything and like want to go get a shitty job so they can go get fucked up on the weekends. And it's like, I go celebrate on the weekends because my week is so good. I don't go out to go drink just because I ate my fucking job. I'm celebrating, so every day of my life's great. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. My friends are so old. Like when I was 16, and I always kind of looked older. And when you like walking in with 7 old fucking people, they're not old. They were like 23. So they never like questioned me, right? And these guys like knew the club, like had some kind of whatever. So they never like took passes from us or whatever. We would just fucking enter like bosses. So when I was 16, when I was in school, like 16 to 18, all we did was like party on the weekends and stuff. Now what my friends are going to college for, like that escapism, move out from their homes and party and have that kind of life. I was like, bitch, I've been there, done that. And now it's so comforting for me because I know I'm not missing out on anything. There isn't something that's waiting there, you know what I mean?
We're chasing something that it's going to make us happy forever, where that weekend happiness, it's for the weekend. And then they get on Sunday and they're like, fuck, I have to go back to work on Monday. Well, we're just like, what's next? Let's go. You know what I mean?
It's so weird. The best friend I was mentioning about, she taught me the concept of escapism. When I told her, I was like, I love to party. I love to go on a Saturday. She's like, sweetheart, that's escapism. What happens on the Sunday once you're back from the Saturday, you know? She's like, what are you escaping? Why do you not like your real life every day when you wake up in the morning? Why do you enjoy that Saturday night more? And I was like, I was so offended. But then I actually like reflected on that so hard. And I was like, that is so true. you know?
It
And my
is true.
whole
And
mission
it
was
takes some of those like calling out. Like she
Yeah.
called you out, and then you
Absolutely.
like sit like you're mad at first, and you're like
Yeah.
shit. Then you're mad at yourself for being mad because it was real.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. And I just
Yeah.
learned so much from her, you know, like her recommending me those kind of books and stuff. And that just fucking changed my whole life. A person who never read books, hated fucking books. In the last year, I just like 13 to 14 books because I was so offended by school. I was like, I'm going to be like the most educated person in my industry. I'm going to know the most.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to win, you know? Not because I hate like education, but it was like kind of being against formal education being put in a box. So I feel like older people really like are kind of the cheat code to making it. You know, like you're just ahead of your time.
They've already learned their lesson. So that's one less lesson you have to fall on your face for, and then start back over.
Yeah.
If you hang around older people and you ask people things that you want to know,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 they're going to tell you, and they're actually going to want to help you more because you're different than most people your age.
Yeah.
That's what I resonated with.
Yeah.
And it's insane because we met each other. We didn't even meet each other till we hopped on Skype.
Yeah.
But we have so much in common. It's
Yeah.
so insane. You're literally on the other side of the world.
I
love
know, it
I
is
fucking
insane.
love that.
But I always thought the podcast was about people. That's why it never mattered where someone was from or what
Right.
someone was doing, right? I was like, I really figured it out. It's just people. Like so many, the most
Right.
insane people I was talking to, like from Indonesia, Taiwan, or Korea. I saw that even though we have so many differences, at the same time, all of us are so similar. Everyone's facing insecurity. Everyone's facing like discipline and perseverance and just things like that. And if we connect
Everyone's the
with
same for the most part, but we just speak different languages. That's what it is.
absolutely, but I feel like at the core of it, like everyone wants to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And that is what you connect
100%.
with and take that out. Like one of my biggest things was I was like, so how do I build up Instagram to like a cooler thing? Was I started connecting with a lot of artists on Gary's fucking comment section, right? Artists with like 1,000 followers. And I was like, let's do a collaboration where we do the podcast, but I would promote your music and do like a stupid dance to it or make like a funny video.
Yeah.
And promote your music, you know? And
Yeah.
they find a newer audience and I get like cooler music. And then I was telling them, I was like, why don't you reach out to meme pages? Because I consume Gary so much, I just can not help but educate people.
You're gonna work for Gary. You're gonna work for
It
him.
was so
I'm telling
weird.
you right now,
And
you're
I was
going
like,
to it.
go through meme pages, go reach out to these vloggers and let your music go out there. You know, instead of DMing one person to like, hey, check out my music, you
Yeah.
would reach out to someone who needs your music and they potentially reach to like hundreds of thousands of
Massive.
people. You know?
Massive.
And if you reach
Yeah.
out to so many people, all of them are building their audiences. You don't know where that one person is going to be 6 months from now. One person out of like the
Exactly.
100, growing and growing, you know? So I was just kind of doing that, also connecting with a lot of artists. And
You need to
seeing
start
how
reaching
they-
out to some of these pages.
The meme pages, what would I have to
Not
say?
not the meme. Not the meme. Find motive.
I don't
not
like the
the big-
motivational section, you know, because so much of it is just bullshit.
Bullshit.
So many
I
people
know.
I
know.
find
That's why.
who
That's why I
creating-
held it back.
so many people I hear
I guess
like
you're doing
making
it.
content are just repeating what Gary is saying, and
Yeah.
I was like, shut up!
Yeah.
Like no one wants to know that. You know, like document it, say what it means to you. I quote Gary
Yes.
so much. I speak some of the same stuff, but in my life's
It's different in
context.
context. Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying the
Yeah.
exact same he is saying to like kind of impress you with I want to build businesses and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot
Yeah.
of people are meeting out that way. That's why I wish I had a thing to offer. That is something I'm still figuring out. I feel like maybe with the podcast I'm kind of finding
I
it.
think over time you're gonna build an audience. I'm telling you, LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn and go crazy on LinkedIn and post as much as you're doing on Instagram,
Yeah.
and it's gonna win. It's gonna win. You're gonna build a bigger audience. Now you have value. Now people are gonna be reaching out to you to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
So maybe if you have a big enough following, you could charge them to come on your podcast because then they're gonna be promoted off of your stuff, or they just want to have the audience that you have because it's so engaged because we're all in the same mindset. Like, I'm going to follow you and be on all your stuff now. I'm going to comment on all your stuff because
Yeah.
I related to it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if you do that over and over and over and over again,
Yeah.
it's just going to explode.
Yeah. The podcast, I never wanted to do a podcast. It was so much about meeting the right people. I just wanted that one person that either I'm going to
But you're
change their life.
documenting.
Yeah.
You're documenting finding a way.
Yeah.
That's what's dope.
Yeah.
That's why I like it a lot.
Yeah, and then I would also like film like these logs with like just talking up straight up like shit, guys, getting rejected, like losing opportunities, and just shit like
Yeah.
that, you know. So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of finding some sort of way.
I love
you
it.
know?
I'm telling you, you got to stick with it. Just stick
But-
with it for a year. And I'm DMing you in October.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm
I'm
so
not
scared of
going to
that.
put my calendar when we're off the phone call.
I mean, I think you should too. If that's something that's really in you, the LA thing,
I'll DM you what the situation is. And
absolutely.
there's
But if
stuff
you
I
want to
can't
talk
say.
about it, you can talk about it now. I'll just cut that shit out. Like, I edited in.
I'll DM you.
Okay, fine.
What's your at name? I'm gonna tag you in this story really quick. Is it DAI?
It's Devika. One of the biggest questions I ask everyone on the podcast is, "Are you happy?" So that's your question.
I am happy. I'm just very, very curious right now because I feel like I tapped into an untapped potential. And so I literally, like, when I was in LA, I got this tattoo. It says "Stay Curious." Oh, it's backwards, but it says "Stay Curious" because literally Mark was my number one inspiration the minute I heard about his story. And I met him, worked with him, and had a bigger conversation within 6 months. So now I'm just like, it's that gap, you know what I mean? It's like living in the gap. When I met Gary, now I met Mark, now I want to meet Scooter. I'm 100% happy in what we're doing, but I'm just trying to figure out how do I set this up for the longevity to always chase my passion. Because I got asked this question on another podcast, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I used to say, I'm going to own a massive agency, and I changed it after I met some of these influential people, and I said, wherever I'm at in 5 years, I'm passionately going to be chasing whatever makes me happy. I don't even care if that's like what Gary's doing with garage selling. Yeah. That's his answer. He's passionately chasing whatever the fuck he wants to do. Yeah. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Everybody can make money. Not everybody can make money, but I mean, it's attainable for everyone, but it's hard for people to find their true passion and chase that and put everything aside. So that's what I'm doing right now. And yes, I'm happy.
That's amazing. I love that because I feel like just asking that question always unfolds a story with people, and I never know anyone I'm speaking with, and just asking them that question, it just makes me really wonder because I really keep asking myself that question, like, am I happy?
Are you happy? I was going to ask you that. Are you happy?
It's yes and no, and it's a yes because I'm grateful, obviously, because Gary really helps me with my perspective, and I truly am grateful. You know, we have a roof over our head, food on the table, and my parents are good. I had just amazing parents. When I saw that how fucked up.
Have you ever shot Gary an email?
No. What would I say? Like, hey, it's me. What would I do for you?
I would tell him how he impacted your life. If he doesn't get back to you, did anything change? Did you meet Gary before sending the email? Nope.
But I always wanted to kind of reach out to these people with some leverage and respect and credibility instead of like just sliding in with nothing and like you did this for me.
But you could say, here's how, like, I would tell the thing about the school and how you didn't go to school and how you're starting this podcast and how you watch his content and you start practicing it and now you're connecting with people in the States and you're doing this and you're learning that and it's only been 3 months in. Because he does randomly go in on podcasts that just got started. I've listened to so many of them. It's telling you, I don't think it would hurt. And if he doesn't get back to you, try it again in next month. Then try it again next month. And then try it again the next month. I'll show you right now. Hold on. But I was DMing Mark, and he didn't get back to me. He didn't get back. I'll show you. Hold on one second.
I also remember, I don't know if you've heard about that book, The Third Door. These guys had Alex on it. I got that book. Yeah. That fucking book helped me so much just with the whole podcasting.
I haven't read the book. I have not read the book yet. I know. I'm reading 7 Habits of Highly Successful People right now. Oh. But that's how I met Mark. That's how I met Gary, is straight through the third door. So we're always looking for third doors. But I'll show you this with Mark right now. Okay. There's the very first DM. He responds to me. No response. Little bit of response. No. A little bit. No. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And there's text in there too. And then in January, I finally met him. But it was like so many people would have given up after he didn't respond to the first DM. Mm-hmm. I think I counted when I went and spoke in front of that class that I grabbed that clip from. And it was like 17 times that he did not respond to me. And it was months at a time. It would be like October XYZ to November. And I was just like, hey, man, like still just seeing if you want me to come out and film some content for free. So just being relentless and being persistent, it's going to change everything. I'm telling you.
I struggled with that. I was like, I don't know. I was thinking, why would they want to hear from me? You know, it's just that.
Oh, okay, so I'm from Minnesota, and Mark's from LA. Mark paid me to go to NBA All-Star Weekend. That doesn't make any sense because he's in LA, and
but then you were providing him your services, right?
What's that?
You were providing him your services with the photography and content creating and video.
Yes, but he paid me to do it. Do you know how many people in LA have a camera that would do it for free?
Yeah.
So many people. It's because I was persistent and I showed him I'm a savage and I don't give up on shit. So that's why he paid me to go to NBA All-Star, because he knew I was going to get it done. When people get to that level, they don't want to fuck around with people who just want to talk to Gary just because they like Gary. They want to talk to Gary because they want to help build his business, help provide value, and you're self-aware that you need to provide value. I don't know. I think you're doing everything right. I think it's just going to take time. You've only been doing it for 3 months.
Yeah, I struggle with that. So, do they like that people keep on like hitting them up? Because I was like, I don't want to bother them.
Yeah, I don't. But you're not bugging them. And here's the thing: what I said earlier is, if you don't send a DM, you're not working with them because you have no way of contacting them. If you send them a DM and they read it and they don't get back to you, nothing changed. You're still not working with them. But what if they read it and it changed the course of your life forever? That's what happened with Mark. Changed my life forever. It's because I shot him a DM, and that was the first person I've actually like intentionally shot a DM. It's like, hey man, like it was a complete curveball. It was out of the air, and I was sitting and grabbing Caribou coffee, and I was just texting, and I saw he acquired this deal, and I shot him a DM. He didn't get back to me for a week, but then he got back to me just like, thanks man, and I was like, okay. How did I pop through that? Why is he saying thank you? Like, I was just saying, like, love your stuff, like, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay, now I have to capture his attention because I got lucky that he even responded to that. Mm-hmm. So that's where I sent him. I said, I'll do videos for free. I'll come out for free. And he said, respect that. Can't say no. Sent me a text. So, I don't know. You're already DMing people to be on the podcast. I think if you have a leverage, whether it's like, would love to have you on my podcast or would love a 15-minute meeting. I don't know. I think you should just tell your story and eventually you'll start to figure out where you have leverage and where you can provide value and where you can't.
Yeah. I think I remember Gary speaking. He's like, you either have time, money, or talent, right? And all I have is time, like I don't know what is it that I bring to the table, but I know I'm a good person and I want to work hard and I want to push my limits. And the more conversations I'm having with people, I'm seeing that there's always something that sticks out, that they would want to bet on me as a person. And I always say that hard work beats talent. So
I want to hire you.
That means a lot.
I do. I don't know what you would do, but you have a good personality. You can talk to people. And not like, if you're just trying to like start something, you can get into a sales job because you can talk to people all day long. And then what if it's like, oh, I actually run this podcast. Now you can start doing that as a filter to get more and more people on your podcast. I mean, there's so many different things you could do. I like that you're self-aware and you're like, well, all I have is time. You're good at storytelling. You're good at talking to people. We met 20, 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love hearing that because I always thought that whatever I feel like I'm good at, because I would keep hearing it from people, I'm like, do people in the real business world who are actually running successful businesses think that? Because in my eyes, I always felt like I would bet on people. I would never bet on, like, talent is important, but hard work beats talent.
That's what Mark said to me. He looks at the who before the what, always.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they trustworthy? Are they competent? Can they communicate?
Yeah.
Everything else, most part, you can teach. It's just finding the people that are passionate about content.
Yeah. And I would so closely observe. I would so closely observe Jake, the Team 10 thing he built. I never wanted to be a part of that because I'm not on the talent side. I would rather be like on the business side of things. But I always thought that he always looked for people who looked good, who had talent, who were better dancers. You can always find a better dancer. But what you didn't bet on was people. You are trying to build $1 billion business. For that, you have a very different work ethic and a very different everyday activity. These people are trying to get rich and quick and move out. That is why you have to face all the backlash. But if you had bet on people, what is your vision? I feel like that is what I match with. The vision, the work, how valuable are you as a person in terms of, like being a friend, being trustworthy, being loyal, and continuously working on yourself as being a better person, not being a yes man. That is what I would bet on. And that is where I really get caught up. I'm like, I know I don't have talent, but it doesn't even matter. Because I know whatever job
right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That I generally feel like I can work hard and I'm a good person. So I don't see why not will I not succeed. It's just a matter of time to kind of, I don't know,
I already told you you're going to succeed. Whatever you do, it's going to happen. You're very, very young. and so am I.
Yeah.
But just the way you're talking, like we've been talking for an hour and a half, and it feels like 20 minutes because
Really,
we're at
it
the
does
same
feel like 20
wavelength.
minutes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we've been on the same wavelength,
Yeah.
so it's like we get it. Like we're finishing each other's sentences, and if you think I'm somewhat successful, you're a spitting image of communicating, talking. I mean, English is probably your second language, isn't it? Or no?
Yes.
I only speak one language. You already have another step ahead of me. It was one of my biggest regrets to not have a second language. My dad's from South America, from Paraguay, so I should be speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
But
Duolingo will be your best friend.
I know. I have it on my phone. I've just been making excuses.
Do it.
I'm not lying. I've been making straight excuses.
Do it. I tell you why. Something I was telling about India, right? Why India is so important. Not because I'm from here, but because India has the largest youth population in the world. What the
Really?
youth do here today is not just going to shape the country, but shape the world. That is why I'm so focused. That is why I feel like I have a greater purpose. And people immigrate, people migrate, right? So what these people are thinking today, I don't care about what they're doing. What they're thinking today, their vision. If this is what's happening, if this is what everyone's caught up in school and percentages, no one's going to grow. And this place, which is so rich in culture, which is the largest youth fucking population, we're a huge part of the world. And what these kids are thinking is not just going to shape the country, but the world. And that is why I feel like it is so important.
That sentence is why you're gonna win. Straight up. I don't even think I need to say anything else. That sentence is why you're gonna win. Everyone's thinking down here. You're thinking up here, but in age, you're down here. That's why you're gonna win. You're gonna win. Just keep doing it. I'm telling you, you're gonna win.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm at this point. I'm just saying I'm happy I even met you.
Oh, then shut up! Like I'm so happy about you. That means that there's so much self-doubt because I keep thinking that I'm here. I feel, like just going through that, I feel trapped in my room. I'm like, nothing's gonna come out of this shit. And I can't move to LA because I'm so intimidated. And even if I go there, like, who gives a fuck? Like, who am I? I have nothing to bring to the table. And then, then I just have to go through the self-reminding thing that, irrespective, I don't know what I'm doing, I must keep doing something, which is like documenting my process or just networking with people. And if I just keep doing good, I feel like something needs to hit. It's just about creating possibilities,
It will. I'm telling you, it will. It happened to me. I'm telling you, it happened to me. Keep doing it.
One of my goals is to, not just to boast, but one of the goals I've written, I remember, was being Forbes 30 under 30 because I felt like I never went to school. So I always wanted, like, credibility. That chip on the shoulder, I have it too. People keep on saying, oh, you didn't go to college? And then you have to explain them the whole shit. I stopped meeting uncles and aunties, because I didn't want to like give them the whole story. Even if I go to like a doctor's appointment, they just get into a whole. They start educating me that you should go to college. Once I start speaking with them, they're like, "Oh wait, why did I go into college? You have no idea." They start giving me examples of people they knew who dropped out in class 8th and now are fucking millionaires. I'm like, exactly, uncle. Like we really turned the conversation up. So yeah. So I remember studying about Forbes 30 under 30, and it wasn't just about like young people making money, but it was so much about young people who made money the right way and had an impact in the world, So with your company as well, you're such an incredible person, and it's very difficult to find people like that. Like, trust me, I met so many people, but very few people are actually willing to put in the work and are good people and have a vision and all that, all sorts of things, right? So I don't know, like just keep on doing what you're doing and start thinking about how you can like very tangibly impact young people. I feel like young people are so important, like I feel like I keep learning from thought leaders. That is why I feel like my mind is so, I wouldn't say correct, but it's just better. It's not even better, it's just different.
It's in tune. You're in tune with your own mind.
Exactly. That's like the perfect word. It's so in tune because these guys were like thought leaders. And the more you learn about them, the more you understand that there's so much of like how you think is going to shape the world,
Mindset is everything.
Yeah, so with your company, like if you can just focus on, you have such an incredible culture of these young people working for you. That's a huge thing because these people will meet other people and impact other people and just going to create a snowball effect in the community. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's exactly why we started the vlog. Yes, it's a sales tool. Yes, it's a culture tool.
Yeah.
Yes, it shows more of what we do.
Yeah.
But the reason why we started the vlog is because we're all under 25. Everyone's under 25,
Yeah.
and we're building a big company. And so the vlog is to start showing people you can do it. Like, straight up, we don't even know what we're doing. And the vlog shows a lot of like raw moments. Like I'm sitting there convincing the university I went to school with in a snapback and skinny ripped black jeans, telling them that they're competing with YouTube. Like people are like, who the hell is this kid?
Yeah.
But it's showing them like, think differently, because now that same university I pitched that to, they think I'm the thought leader and I'm getting all the contracts from them because I voice my opinion.
Yeah.
And I use my resources like YouTube, podcasts, XYZ books, everything.
Yeah. I feel like you have a team of people who are working for you. Why not do it on an everyday basis? I feel there's something so powerful in doing something every day. I swear. I know it's intimidating.
I know. It's not even
difficult.
the intimidating factor. I cannot afford it. Our overhead is just too high, and we have to. We restructured our business in 2019 January 1, which is why everything's so significant now. But we're working towards it because I would love to. And we're starting a podcast too, and so maybe we can do a collab there. But that's why between vlogs, between posting, and between being on podcasts, I'm doing something every single day. I have like at least 5 to 10 stories on my Instagram, and on my LinkedIn, I'm posting every single day of value. Whether it's motivational mindset, whether I just posted you, I'm just like, I'm on a podcast right now from across the world, and we have so much in common. I'm going to get 3 or 4 DMs being like, holy fuck, that's dope. I'm going to be like, yeah, check her out. Now I'm providing value to you. They're going to hear the podcast when you drop it, and I'm going to provide value to those 5 people that DM me. We're all fucking winning. We could work for the next 25 years. We could double our age, not even double, more than double your age. And I'm telling you, you're going to fucking do something way bigger. Like, you're already thinking about impacting people. You haven't even started something. I started the business to make money. Then it transitioned into how can I impact people? How can I provide more value? How can I chase my dreams? I did it to start money because realistically, I like wearing hats, and I can dress up. I can wear a suit. You see my Instagram. But I wanted to do shit on my own terms. Like, I don't fucking want to have to wear a button-up tie just to prove to you that I'm worth something. So when I go and sit in these meetings, their vulnerability goes down. They're like, who the fuck is this kid pulling up? Everyone's rocking suits and ties. They're running $100 million companies. And I come in with skinny black jeans, and I'm just like, what's up? But then I start talking about like the content, the strategy, the marketing, the things that I'm doing. They're like, this guy's a genius.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's just doing things on your own terms. That's what really makes me happy.
Yeah. And I feel like, why is that wrong? Like, even if you're making money. One thing I learned, it's just a concept. I don't know if like you'll understand it, but it was something about turning materialistic things into meaningful things. So it's like you want the car, right? Now everyone starts demonizing, like, you know, cars are not happiness, but I fucking love cars. I want the fastest fucking whip ever. And I would like just, like, my whole dream is like to drive every single car. It's not even like owning one car, I just want to drive every single car. Yeah, like I literally have gone to dealerships just to tell them that I'm buying a car, and I would just test drive different cars, and it would be the happiest moment of my fucking life.
You're savage.
Yeah, it was crazy.
See, I like nice shit too. That's what when I was speaking in that class, I said, guys, it's okay. This is self-awareness. I'm self-aware that I fucking like money.
Yeah.
Most people won't say that shit. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
How I make my money is very important to me, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like nice shit.
Yeah.
I have a BMW.
Yeah.
I'm selling it because I just need to sell everything, and I don't know if I'm moving. I just need to get rid of things, but yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, you know, so the whole concept was about like earthly desires are enlightenment. What that means, earthly desires are like materialistic things. Enlightenment is something that is going to lead you to this like absolute happy, meaningful shit. So, right? So like me in the context of cars, why do I want a bigger, faster, bigger car, right? Very materialistic, very selfish. But at the same time, now how I get the car is the whole process. That what I provide to the world, the kind of value I add, in exchange the value I'll get, get money, which will get me the car. Then that car, I could use that, like young people having a big, a big car or whatever, right? Can serve as an inspiration and just things like that. So you still be you if you like really expensive clothes or like cars or money, but you just channelize your energy, like channelize that goal into a direction which is going to help other people. So you stay true to yourself, like the most true, but at the same time, like, it's the greatest thing. You should have that fucking car, you know? Something like Jake having a Lamborghini. Now he tells me that Lamborghini does not bring him any happiness. Which brings him happiness is feeling fulfilled. That is so much more meaningful than coming from someone who can never afford a car and telling me, like, Lamborghinis don't bring you happiness. Like, what do you know? You know what I mean? So you get everything. And then you can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. So my sophomore year, right when I started the business, actually,
Yeah.
I bought a car without having a lot of money, and so I knew my payment was $285, and so I was selling school newspaper. No one's reading newspapers, and it was commission only. So I knew if I wanted to have fun that day or that month, I had to make more than $285, and so I positioned the materialistic thing as kind of a monthly goal of like, okay, gotta work, enjoy it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah, because I feel like parents are demonizing things like money and materialistic things. Like, don't be that. Like, you can't just be a giver and just keep doing shit. But just be
Right.
like somewhat, I feel like modern or whatever, and just
Self-awareness. It's just all self-awareness. That's what it's coming.
Yeah. So it's so cool that you started because of money. Like, the reason you started it because of money, you gravitated towards so much new shit that you would have never had if it wasn't for money. That was your sole driving purpose, you know?
Exactly. But it's being very vulnerable to say, like, most people are like, oh, I don't care about the money. Like, I started for money. I wanted to make money, but then when I saw what the potential could open up, I've met so many cool people. I have 7 people on payroll. I'm like, it's so much bigger than that now. Where it's just like, I don't even care about the money. I just want to keep doing this shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I love that, you know. I'm so happy for you that you found something and you're making money and you're doing good because I feel like money is very important to me at the same time. But
Well, you need money to live, but I'm telling you, keep doing what you're doing. I was asking these exact same conversations and the exact same questions that you're asking when I was 20. Straight up.
Yeah.
I'm 23. You're 3 years away. Maybe you're a year away. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest things right now I'm just challenging is to move out of the city because I feel like I've really maximized on really reached the saturation point where I've consumed everything I can from the internet, you know, consumed
Right.
everything I can from books.
It's one
And
thing to
it's
learn from the internet, but it's one thing to be next to that person and learn from them in a single
you
day.
like execute real people, real time. Instead of like fucking internet's driving me nuts. Like I have no fucking life. I'm in my room editing and like doing podcasts and just creating, but it just comes to a point where it's a little saturation, and I feel like this is where I'll fall off. You know, this is the only point where.
Would it be super expensive to go like do like a 2-week vacation to LA just to see how many people you can meet, like before you make the big jump?
I kind of did not want to do a vacation. You know, I just wanted to go there for a purpose. I didn't want to go there just for the sake of it.
No, not a vacation, but like for a trial period, like going there for like 2 weeks and just like you're not committing to moving there, but you're gonna go meet as many people in 2 weeks. I'll fly out there. I'll meet you in person. We'll create a shit ton of content. How about this? If you go out there, it doesn't have to be for 2 weeks. It could be for a weekend, or I don't know how expensive it is to fly back and forth. So I could be speaking out of context here. But if you do it, I'll fly out during the same time, and we'll make a video about how we met on Skype through Instagram, did a podcast. We have this all documented, and then you move out there, and then I'll film it on my professional cameras, and I'll give it to you for free.
That is so cool.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it.
No. I absolutely get it. The thing is that my parents would pay for it, right? So it is kind of, it's going to be like $1,200 to $1,300, and yes, something around those lines, and staying there, and so, you know. So the thing was that I felt like if I can get the visa working, and how the visa works is like if someone wants to employ me, they'll kind of send an invitation.
Yeah.
So like
I've dealt with international employees.
Exactly. So that was the biggest thing. I was like, even if someone loves me, they have to love me on the next level to go through all that pain, you know. But they could just like get someone completely free of hassle.
Shit.
Huh?
I hate that the visa thing is a thing. I know it's there for a reason, but it's just like, because I was working with someone from Canada, and technically Canada's international, and so it's going to be an extra $40,000 to sponsor him, and that doesn't even mean he gets paid.
No, you have to pay for people. I just think that you need to write a letter and say that we want to employ her. All they need is like for people to let you know that you're calling them. You're not just randomly going there.
I'm pretty sure.
I spoke to an immigration lawyer and I asked him. I was like, "How is it going to go down?" No. I just asked him. I was like, "How is it going to go down?" So he said, "Whoever's going to employ you, they have to write a letter saying that they want to employ you and they are calling you, and then it goes through a couple of embassies back and forth, and then they grant you the visa. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah,
that's how it goes. And like the bigger the company, the easier it is for you. I'm not sure if like they have to pay for it or anything. They just have to say that you are calling them. But it's still kind of
I don't know.
exactly. So that's a bigger challenge. Of like if some people might even like slightly be into me, but then they have to me on some next level shit to get me to go through all of that. That's a huge struggle.
If you talk the way you talk, I'm telling you, fucking do it.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to like build up leverage and through I don't know, Instagram or whatever. And the hope is that I do find someone who is ready to kind of taking that risk, and because I feel like that person would kind of be a family, if I'm all there by myself or working for someone.
Absolutely.
They have to be like the friend and the family, like emotional support and shit. So it's a huge thing. So it's not like just going there. It's a huge like burden, not just on me, but
I get that. You're making me kind of feel like a bitch for not moving there now.
No. So
I'm just kidding.
No,
but I have a lot easier opportunity than you, and it's difficult,
Yeah. And I really feel like I can thrive there. Maybe it might be the worst time of my life, but so many people I spoke with, they told me initially it was bad, but then the reason that they were able to achieve what they've been able to achieve is because they were there, is because the people were there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
no, I get that.
I mean, that is just something I'm struggling with it, but I'm sure, like, if I stay at it, like, I can figure it out.
Just keep staying at it.
And just that. Thank you so much, man, for coming on the podcast. I can't believe, like, we spoke and it was just incredible. And
is this the best one yet?
Yeah, actually, like, I'm so happy. Like, actually, there was this one guy who was going, you know who Charlie Rocket is?
Yeah, I just met him last weekend, too.
So, there's this guy who's going on Charlie Rocket's Quantum June experience. And I found him. I was like, come on the podcast, boy. And then we had an incredible conversation. And he told me that he's going there. And then he promised me once he's back from there, like, he's going to share everything he learned.
Yes.
So, and Charlie follows him. So I was like, okay. Building up relationships. I don't know where this guy is going to be, like, a couple of years from now. So.
Yeah, so one of my designers does a lot of his designs for him. So, like... Yeah, my whole agency, we do client work, and then at night, we just use our personal brand to DM. So, like, Casey Adams, Charlie Rocket, Drama, Mark, Jeff, GaryVee, everyone. I met them all last weekend.
That's so dope. Like, I don't know, but about, like, Ikonick, those guys I love, but try ask, because you told me that they're your friends. I don't want to put you in a weird spot, but just ask them that, would they be... They're
starting their own podcast. If I have better leverage. If you're in LA, I'll fly out. We'll sit down with them in person.
Yeah, not for the podcast. Like, I literally wanted to give my time and hours into those people. That kind of thing, I feel like I can learn the most from them, and they're so, like, Gary-centric people, and they're hardcore entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And I feel like that is the ideal environment where I love, and I don't know. But I was like, who cares? Like, I don't know.
I care.
The battling thing.
Let me learn more about you. I have to get to another meeting here at 5.
Okay.
Let me follow up. Let's keep talking back and forth. And whether it's a podcast, like, let's try to get on Skype like once a month. And we don't have to record as a podcast. If you want to, we can. But let's just keep in touch, because I think there's something happening here. I getting goosebumps. Like, when I get goosebumps, shit's happening. I'm not lying. I'm the goosebumps guy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
But let's just stay connected. And if you're in LA, or if I learn more about, like, the skill set that you can tangibly give to them, we might not know it today, but we might know it in next 6 months.
Yeah,
I'm the door for that. Like, if I'm confident, I will open that door for you.
That means a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect you.
Thank you so much. It's just incredible for coming from someone like you. I would always keep on doubting myself, and then just hearing that is just amazing, like the acknowledgement, and coming from someone who's already accomplished something, So thank you for that. It means a lot. So how do you want to do the 1 minute podcast thing? So I will ask you a question and you will answer, and then you will ask me a question, I will answer. So what do you want your question to be like? Usually I tell the person that whatever you want to talk about, I would frame up the question according to that. Like, whatever's like the most important thing to you that can give the people the most context about you.
I have a 15-minute drive to this meeting. Can we reschedule for the 1 minute podcast? Because I didn't realize we were going to talk for 2 hours.
It's okay. I'm sorry I kept you on that long.
No, that's okay. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be late for this meeting.
Yeah.
Let's, I'll shoot you a DM after this.
Okay.
And then let's just reschedule for the 1 minute podcast whenever works best for you, if that works. It can be not tonight because it's fucking 4 in the morning. 5 in the morning almost for you. But we can do something either later this week or on the weekend or next week.
Yeah,
Does that work?
around this time, whenever you're free around like 3 p.m. ish, Minnesota time, that would be the best time. And
Okay.
that's just gonna take 20 minutes. We're just quickly gonna go brainstorm on the question and make a clip like a minute, and then like just we'll be over that. So like that's just a 15-20 minute thing.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with it. Let's do it.
Cool. So like just
Awesome.
text
All
me up and then we'll do it. Okay.
Yep, sounds good. All right, nice meeting you. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
Bye.